What's up, everybody? You didn't think I was gonna do this, and you all thought this thing didn't exist. You all were convinced that this was all just a dream, that there's no way that a game with the title of Elden Ring could ever be real, that this is just a ruse, a prank. But I assure you it's real. I've said it from the beginning. You just have to be patient. And now, here we are. What's up? I'm gonna talk about the trailer. I don't usually do these things, and nobody asked for this, but I don't know. I felt I could just talk a little bit about it for some arbitrary amount of time, give some thoughts, give some opinions, some hopes, some little poking things here and there. I'm not gonna deeply go into every single frame and pixel of this trailer and talk about how the pixel that is on the horse is the same pixel as the horse boss in Dark Souls 2. I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm just going to go through scenes and talk about various things and stuff I hope happens and stuff that I'm kind of like, I hope they don't do this, or I want this to be good, which is mostly what I'm going to talk about. So, without further ado, I'm going to start the trailer, and I will pause it here and there to just stop and kind of talk about what I think of things. But yes, there's a horse in this game. It is a horse you can ride, and that is good. There's mounts in this game, and that's pretty cool. But there's not really, like most of these kind of trailers, especially from FromSoft games, FromSoft games, they're very elusive. They don't really tell you a whole lot of what's going on. Like, we have no idea what the actual overall story is. But I mean, look at this imagery, dude. This looks sick. All this stuff looks pretty fucking sick. We got your guy who can summon a horse, and now you can ride a horse places. I'm gonna stop it here. First of all, that's a pretty cool looking, like, wallpaper image. But anyway, so you have a mount now. You can ride a horse, which immediately clicked in my mind. I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be open world, not just a world, but an open world. Kind of Breath of the Wild-esque. You can get on a horse, you can go places. And there's horse combat, which you'll see in a few seconds here. But that's cool. I'm excited for that. I think that From Software would do a very good job at making a very open world style game. The way I picture this game being structured is you have the big open world and sections of the open world that kind of have that Dark Souls, Bloodborne-esque level design. Like, there's main very important areas that have very intricate level designs, and then you might have the open world itself have a very nice intricate level design too. We have no idea. I'm expecting that though, because Miyazaki loves to make these kinds of very intricately laid out worlds. He's a big fan of the level design aspect of the Souls games, at least, like in Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne, at least. The design of the levels is immaculate. I consider the level design of Bloodborne and Dark Souls 1 to be the best level design in the industry. Like, it's really, really good. The fact that you go all the way around and then come back from one area and into another area, like, it's a very, very intricate laid out world, and it's really cool. And I hope that they have that in this, but on a much larger scale. And that looks cool. And also, you can ride a horse. Horses are fun. You can ride horses, and maybe that'll make it traveling faster. I do hope there's no bonfire system in this game, like, that it kind of has that autosave feature of just like in Breath of the Wild. I will draw comparisons of Breath of the Wild because that's my open world game for reference comparisons. I just hope that, like, you don't have to rest at bonfires anymore, like, that we can just get off the game anywhere in the world, as long as we're not getting, mauled to death by something. and we can log back into the game, and boom, we're right where we logged out. Like, we don't have to rest anywhere, we don't have to get checkpoints, none of that. That's what I'm kind of hoping happens here. But that's still yet to be seen, because there is a small shot in this trailer of you sitting at a bonfire, so maybe it's back. Maybe they're back. I don't know. Let's continue. We have Turtle with Bell. And pot enemies. So, for one, about to lose my train of thought. No, okay. We have really cool art design. The art design, the art direction, the, like, horror aspect of this, if you want to call it that. The very grotesque, the very gory Berserk influence. There's going to be so many Berserk references in this game. Just you wait, man. There's going to be a lot of Berserk in this game. I mean, you already saw it with the big tree. If any of you read Berserk, this game's going to have a lot of Berserk in it. I'm just going to tell you right now. You'll see, and I'll point them out. But for one, this enemy does remind me of the centipede kind of enemy in Dark Souls 3, but I mean, I'll touch on it at the end, what I think and what I'm kind of thinking of. But the combat looks reminiscent of Dark Souls 3. I do hope that in this game it's different enough from Dark Souls combat. Like, I want the core Dark Souls combat to be there, you know, rolling, dodge rolling. Maybe dashing would be kind of cool, but dodge rolling and lock on and stuff like that. I think all that should kind of stay, but I want them to kind of do something with it to shake it up, because I don't want this just to be very similar combat. I want to feel like things are a little different, like different enough that I could play this and then go play Dark Souls 3 and be like, oh yeah, these are different. Like, these are different. Bloodborne did that, but not quite enough. Sekiro really did that, because Sekiro's not the same game as Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but Bloodborne only shook it up a little bit with its transforming weapons. But there was the roll feature only happened if you weren't locked on. Dodging was the feature when you were locked onto enemies, and that was really cool. Like, I hope they just kind of do something like that with this game, where they kind of take it a little bit further, but they don't totally completely change the whole system itself. But those are just kind of my little thoughts I'm thinking about with this. This is all off the cuff. I'm not scripting any of this. I'm just kind of going with the flow and just kind of talking about the thoughts that I'm thinking when I'm watching this and thinking about the game. So, soundtrack is killer. Like, soundtrack, sound design are still killer. 10 out of 10. Art design, 10 out of 10. I'm excited to listen to the soundtrack for this game when I can. But you see the fighting, like, it looks very reminiscent of Souls games, with the extra added benefit of you being on a mount. And maybe there'll be cool moves for dismounting and mounting and stuff. There's some Berserk for you. Oh yeah, you can co-op in this game, so I have some thoughts on that. I do hope that this is co-op and there's no PvP aspect to this game. I know that might be controversial and a hot take. I really don't want PvP anymore in these games. Co-op is fine. I really don't want PvP though. I really think we could do without PvP. My reasoning is because when you add PvP to games, there's always an element of balance that needs to be maintained. And a good example maybe of it is that some weapons in previous Souls games were very strong, to the point that they had to get nerfed. Some of them rightfully so, some of them maybe not so much. But the point I'm making is, once you add a competitive aspect to these games, you immediately have to add a way to balance it and or at least appease a general audience of people, so they're not cramming hateful comments down your throat about how they're the real game developer, they know what to do and how to balance things and make things perfect. So I'm cool with co-op though. I love co-op. I think if this game's co-op is at all similar to I hope the co-op in this game is a mix of what we have in Dark Souls, you know, summoning people, but also a mix of Remnant from the Ashes. If you haven't played Remnant from the Ashes, that is a fantastic co-op game. That is a really, really good co-op game. And I'd love to see some of that co-op style implemented into one of these games. This would be pretty cool. I'm excited to see how it works. And I'm hoping that it makes it harder the more people you have, just like in Dark Souls. The more people you summon, the harder the boss is. Well, harder is a bit arbitrary. The thicker his health bar is all it really does. So, you know. Where would we be without our dragons? But I'm really digging the set pieces, the area looks, and the art design. It's phenomenal. It looks really, really good, and I'm excited to like be in this world. I'm gonna stop there at the pretty cathedral. I really I'm really excited. This is looking pretty what you'd expect. The trailer is on point. Typically these trailers show gameplay, but they're not showing like raw, unfiltered, uninterrupted gameplay. It's gameplay with some zhuzhed up effects and camera angles and stuff like that. It's marketing. It's to make it look as awesome as it looks, because it looks awesome. It looks really cool. It's awesome. I'm excited to play it. I feel like this game is going to have a more focused story than Souls games. Not that Souls games had a bad story. I'm not saying they had a bad story, but their story wasn't like at the forefront of the game. The story was kind of in the game. It was like it was fused with the game in a way where you picked up story as you played. And I hope this has a much more cohesive story at the very least. They have George R.R. Martin contributing some of his talents to this game, so I imagine the story is going to be at least a little more coherent and people can understand, you know, what the hell's actually going on and what stuff means. I know I still want them to have their trademark show don't tell in this game, but I want that to be kind of weaved alongside an actual plot that's going on, like a reason for us doing what we're doing. It's probably going to be character customization. We're probably a silent protagonist in this game, just like every other, and stuff like that. But just a little bit of a think tank going on. But I mean, like, listening to the soundtrack and watching all the sounds and hearing the sounds and watching what I'm seeing and hearing it, those words don't all make sense together, but this all looks really good, man. It's really fucking cool looking. A lot of it looks like semi cutscenes spliced in with some gameplay. For all of us. And I'm gonna like talk a little bit about some things and then wrap up. So all in all, I'm excited. My biggest takeaway is that I hope the gameplay, the core combat and gameplay, besides the addition of the mount, which is obviously something different, I hope that besides the mount, there's more to shake up your moment-to-moment gameplay, your rolling, your dodging, your blocking, your attacking, your riposting, all that stuff. I want to feel like they made some new changes, made anything different. Like, I want it to be spiritually and at its core the same, but I also want it to feel like they looked at it and they're like, okay, we can do this but better in some way. It doesn't have to be substantial. I'm not asking for like the wheel to be reinvented, but I want to play this game and I want to be like, okay, this is similar, but there's some key differences here. Not, okay, they just took combat from these games, mushed them a little bit, and that's it. So maybe that's a little bit of a high bar. Maybe it's not. I'm not going to be upset either way, really. I might be like, I kind of wish this, but at least we got a good game. Because it's probably going to be a good game. And I'm expecting it'll be a good game. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it. It looks good. I'm excited. I'm excited to experience a new game from FromSoft. FromSoft games have always been fun to experience for the first time. I loved Sekiro. Sekiro was really fun. I enjoyed it. The only real negative Sekiro has is that it's just not replayable that much, to me anyway. I don't find a reason where I'm like, yeah, I want to go play Sekiro. I've done everything in Sekiro. I hope this game has more replayability. And I mean, with a co-op feature, it probably will have some amount of replayability, perhaps more new game pluses and stuff like that. We'll again, a lot of this is speculating on my part, and a lot of this is hopes and wants and just small little things. But it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty dang good. It comes out in a year, or it comes out next year. It comes out in January 2022. So we got some time to stew on this and get the game when it comes out. I'm very looking forward to it. Based off the trailer, I'm gonna guess the game is either finished or it's very close to, like, very, very close to finished. Because in the past, when we got the Dark Souls 3 gameplay trailer, honestly, though, it was a different game and it had a different development thing going on that this might not have. The point is that the gameplay trailer for Dark Souls 3 was a lot different from what we actually got, like looks and everything. Granted, I feel like after watching this as many times as I have, this looks pretty much solid. Like, I'm sure they're still finishing up with polishing things in the game, but it's looking mighty damn sexy. It's gonna be cool. I'm glad that it exists, and if I can, like, end on a few little more if I can end a little bit, or end on a few more notes. Sorry, I'm bad at talking. A few things to, like, note on is that this game is kind of like, I don't want to say a turning point. Maybe that's, like, a little bit strong, but this is one of these games that, like, really brought everybody under one collective, like, umbrella, because the hype for this game has been cyberpunk level, frankly. Like, I'm, if I may be so bold, I don't think this is gonna flop as much as Cyberpunk did, although Cyberpunk to me wasn't as bad of a flop as I was thinking. But this is not a Cyberpunk video. This looks really, really good, and I have trouble with getting a little hyped, but also trying to reserve and just kind of temper some expectations. I do believe this will be a good game. I want this to be able to stand on its own, and I want it to stand apart from the Souls games. I want it to not be Soulsborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring. I want it to be Elden Ring. Because to me, Sekiro is separate from the Souls games, and I might have talked about it before, but to me, Sekiro is it's its own game. It's not a Souls game, it's a successor, and it takes a lot of notes from what they've done, but it's a completely different game from Souls games. It does have a lot of the core things that you would find in Souls games, but it really changed everything up. It was really good. I want this to be similar to that. I want this to be in a similar vein to that. I want to see this be a true evolution, a true progression from the Souls games. Because part of me has been thinking that how much longer can they keep making games set in medieval-esque time periods with knights and dragons and stuff like that? Because I mean, this is like their 5th one, so time will tell. Time will tell. I'm glad that we got a trailer. I would have been fine even without it. I still was like, it's gonna be fine. We'll get the game. It's gonna come out eventually. I'm gonna, like, let the trailer play out. But it seems pretty dang solid. It's gonna be on PS4 and PS5 and the Xbox Series X and Xbox One Steam. Not coming to Switch, sadly. So that's cool. I do hope there's a PS5 version separate from the PS4. I would like a PS5 optimized version on launch, which could possibly get. I'll probably get it on PS5 and Steam. One of those will be first, one of those will be second. Can't wait to find out what we mod this game with. But yeah, those are some of my thoughts. Not much else to really say. It's finally here. We're finally much, much closer to Elden Ring than we were back in 2019, and I couldn't be more excited, but I'm not going to get overly hyped. I'm going to be cautiously excited and optimistic as much as I can be, since I'm a very cynical person. So those are some of my thoughts. I'm sure I missed a few things in my head. I didn't write any of this down, so do you have any thoughts and stuff you'd like to say about this trailer or what you think the game will be? You can comment them. If you want me to do more stuff like this, I could. I don't have that many opinions on everything, but Souls games and From Software, I do. And this is one of them, so not a Souls game. It's a From Software game, though. But yeah, that's about it. See you guys.